All right, here we go. This is part 3 of the Master Series, Great Lakes Forgotten Grid Series Sediment Deluge. Now we're moving into the World Tree side. And this is called the World Trees, Stumps, and the Song of Eden. I want to start off by saying, when I first started looking at these different sites, I was thinking about, first off, I wanted to identify all the World Tree sites around the world. And then I was thinking about where are all the tops of these trees, because they would have to be just miles and miles high, right? Based upon the stump sizes. And I was just like, it doesn't make any sense that we don't see these trees everywhere, because at least indentions in the ground or something, like with LiDAR or something that you'd be able to see. And so then I started thinking, okay, but these things are miles wide. The biggest one, I think, is in South Africa. I think is like 18.3 miles. I'll say it in the thing here. But so I was like, so something that big, you can't use a blade, you can't do anything like that. And then so I started working on different designs. At first I worked on designs cutting at the base, and then I worked on some designs in the middle, and then the last one I worked on was cutting from the top with like a plasma cut array that would cut it from the top and slowly like burn it down and provide ash in the sky for years and years, which you would find in a sediment record. However, that's not what happened, but I just want to take you through the designs here. So here we go. So when I first started looking at these sites, I designed it like you would cut a tree at the base. I thought to myself, if the world trees were real, if they were titanic trunks rising into the heavens, then cutting them down would leave scars. We'd see the crash sites, we'd see the laydown, we'd see the logs. So that was the first model I worked with, the base cut model. But here's the thing. There were no crash traces, no toppled logs, no splintered fields pointing in one direction. So I had to rethink it. What if these weren't felled like timber? What if they were dismantled differently? That's when I shifted to the crown down cut model. The idea of plasma resonance towers, cutting them The idea of plasma resonance towers, cutting them section by section. Canopy first, trunk last. That explains why we never see giant logs, because they were never allowed to fall whole. And still something was missing. So I asked another question. What if I take the circumference of a stump, scale it up the way you would a normal tree, and see how tall that tree would have been? So I'm literally I took the base perimeter so these are miles wide, right? These perimeters are miles wide. So I took the base perimeter of these tree stumps, and then I scaled them up to see how tall they would be. How many miles high would they be? Then if I cut them at the very base, if I cut the trees that were miles high at the very base, that gave me my mile radius to look for. So the tree falls down. This gives me my search area radius that I have, okay? Does that make sense? So here's the key. If I use that height to plot the fall zone as a circle around the stump, that circle becomes my search area. That's where I should see the bark ranges, the splintered cliffs, the root flares. That was the breakthrough. The fall zone radius became the map. Uluru, 1.5 to 2 miles across, 15 to 24 miles tall. Sure enough, 20 miles out sits Kata to Judah, and 60 to 80 miles out, the Peterman Ranges. Bark ring confirmed. Mount Roramia, 3 to 5 miles across, 30 to 60 miles tall, and it's not alone. It's surrounded by other topois and a forest of stumps. Bark range confirmed. Shiprock, 1.5 to 2 miles across. That means it's 15 to 24 miles tall. Chusca Mountains, 40 miles out. San Juan, 80 to 90 miles out. Another bark range, mountain range confirmed. Socotra, 20 to 30 miles across in diameter, the stump. That means it's 200 to 360 miles tall. The whole island itself acts like the bark flare. Bark range confirmed. Iceland basalt fields. Smaller. It's only 0.2 to 0.5 miles across. So that means it's 2 to 6 miles tall. But with a 30 to 100 miles, you always hit highlands. Bark confirmed in miniature. Baffin Greenland rims. 30 to 60 miles across. That means that they are 300 to 720 miles tall. And right along the coast, you see jagged mountains that look like shattered bark. Bark confirmed. Giant's Causeway and the Devil's Tower. Here's the outlier. Both lack any bark ranges. No 30 to 100 mile rings. No splintered flares. Why? Because they're not the bark. They're the vascular core. The octagonal heartwood stripped bare. That's why they're so different. Literally the heart of the tree. That's why Devil's Tower looks the way it does. And the Giant's Causeway. And that's why they're octagonal as well, because they're the heart of the tree. So 6 out of 7 match the bark ring geometry. Only Causeway and Devil's Tower didn't, because they're showing us the inside anatomy instead of the outside shell. Anatomy of the old world trees. That's when the anatomy epiphany hit me. These stumps aren't all showing the same part of the organism. Lebanon and South Africa, bark ranges peeled like tree skin. Ridges you can literally peel apart like layers of bark. Devil's Tower and Giant's Causeway, vascular columns. The inside fiber bundles of the tree, no bark, just the heart. Uluru and Roramia, I'm the worst at that word. Flat stumps, clean, sawed-off tops with bark ranges nearby. Socotra and Greenland, mega-scale trunks, planetary in size with ranges that act like shattered rims. It's one organism just preserved at different layers, and the scale is wild. Uluru, 15 to 24 miles tall. Roramia, 30 to 60 miles tall. Causeway, 5 to 12 miles tall. Shiprock, 15 to 24 miles tall. Socotra, 20 to 360 miles tall. Iceland stumplets, 2 to 6 miles tall. And Baffin to Greenland, 300 to 720 miles tall. That's the escalation from big to planetary. Is exactly why myths like Yggdrasil exist. So when we think about Yggdrasil, the world tree, it's literally a torus field, right? So, and like I've shown you before, the dimensions, how they work, they're nested. So this would be the center of the singularity here in the center. And the realms would nest inward, right? And it would look similar to this, right? Except this toroidal field would be going up and down to follow this toroidal flow, right? This toroidal flow. Remember this video, right? Remember this? This video where I tell you the actual shape of the Earth and how it's actually not just flat or a sphere, but it's convex and concave? I hope you can see what I'm trying to show you, but they have their dimensions in like Midgard and all that stuff based upon the same type of thing, because it's all an energetic toroid and the dimensions are nested realms. That's what I'm trying to show you there. But we'll move on to the next part of the world.